Welcome to the Then and Now Media Empire platform. Today, the 19th of September, 2021, our two most humble sons are in the driving seat this evening, and we come to una live from the United Kingdom. And me, Prince Emil Koma, and we get the other senior uncle, Mr. Mohamed Kamara. We, of course, know what's in the ongoing at the country. And the most major event, we will call them two, one, the President Day outside of the country, they attend the United Nations General Assembly Conference, and then the long-awaited emergency delegate convention of the All People's Congress, the major opposition party. INSEF, the ongo, and today, not day 3, and the final day of this convention. For help we for understand, providing perspective and analysis, is Mohamed Kamara. We will give you a feedback as to how we begin and how we end up with how we did today, and the pluses and the minus, negatives and positives of all this development. Over to you, Super.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prince Emil Koma. And family, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever on a day. Me and a brother and co-host and presenter of this particular program today, Mohamed Kamara, popularly known as Supermed, as me co-host and CEO and founder of this platform, that introduced me already. Family, one can give a brief background of what's going to go on. Say to today, so when at the final date of the APC convention. And again, before I go any further, I want to say, would they expect for get people in? We go generate directly from the convention all. Now, McKinney, they will can give you some more updates. But let's go. Let me build the story. We all be know say the APC party when I be the main opposition party in Sierra Leone. They get court case them. The last one will lead to this convention. Now a case when they get against another APC member we based in the United States of America by the name of Alfred Peter Conte. So the judge will look after this case after numerous appearances when a Justice Adrian Fisher we make a variation where he said that this is what the APC party do going forward. He said he will let the APC party go all an emergency delegate convention for adopt the new constitution because the new constitution and be the old them. So then he even said the people who will run the process forget the delegates them. He said 21 people them. So he get 10 from the main APC executive. He get 4 from the Alfred Peter Contola, the main plaintiff young group. He get 2 from the Big 6, 2 from NRM, and 3 from diaspora. When they form the 21-man committee, will be responsible for make sure say then go around the country now the 132 constituencies them for able elect 5 delegates. So the APC party they get a strict deadline, a timeline when they for do that. So they go around the country, they able elect now 125 constituency them. The other 7 them, ala bikande the election and not be able to go ahead. Other people them they say them supposed for rerun them, but the party and the 21-man committee say time no day because they get a strict timeline. The other 2 days then we use them for elect 20 people them now the National Youth League, then 20 people them now the Women's Congress as delegates. We for go adopt this constitution, Yasu. So, ladies and gentlemen, the quality on Alepatria for build a background of what actually happened before we reach to let's say when we find that day so. So, according to the APC acting National Publicity Secretary, when they ask them, they say, why make una not be able to do all of the 132? Now, until we say, then do all of the 125, the 7 enable do one because ala commode and the time scale when they get for conducting election here so if they don't reach, so they're not going to even do rerun. He said, but that not mean say there's 7 constituencies, they not go get people who go represent them. And the delegates conference, he said they go get people them, we go represent them. So we see them go on the 17th, when that be Friday, that be the first day, the opening day, where they invite the media, they invite other political parties, they invite diplomats, and they invite so many other key stakeholders in the society. When they go there and make plenty speech, we all hear them, and most of the other people, including the chairman for the PPRC, commend them. Say yes, they follow the process as stipulated by Justice Adrian Fisher when the judge will oversee the case. So the first day when be the Friday be finished peacefully. Yesterday again, now be the close day where it be say now then no more when be the delegates and the people will get issue for deal with waiting for happen with the constitution and then be dead. So then people they go then deliberate. Then they look at all the different clauses then, from diaspora clause, from party admission clause, from so many clauses. And then they till the late hours. Again, media pundits and political pundits and social media activists them commend them. Say yes, the process is going on thoroughly. And then be able to do what it's supposed to do. And today, at the final day, where they go again for make sure say then polish all the different clauses where they parties draft constitution. And as I talk so now, information they reach we say today they finalize all things and the delegates and go vote for adopt the constitution. So now that's the party they pass so far in terms of this particular emergency national delegates conference where they go all the McKinney. Like where I say, would they expect some people then, now they all then are McKinney for genuine live, for giving updates. And it's not going to be easy in a very challenging process because the process run over, as I tell you so, still and then are they all the McKinney day. And they talk to the people that they contact me, then they make sure say, then cross all the T's them and dot the I's them. So that when the constitution will come out, it go there in line with the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone. And I get plenty things for looking to them for make sure say the constitution thorough. So plenty, the question no more. Media pundits them, political pundits and legal pundits them, they say the particular process where the main opposition APC party, they go through so it's not McKinney, it is really thorough and really democratic. So we in the then and now media empire, they commend them for that. Because again, democracy in itself, not an easy process for my family. Now a very challenging process. Because not to all things you go like, not to all things you go get. You can forgive some and take some. But all of those things has to be considered within the constitution where govern a political party. Issues about concerning people in the diaspora, concerning minorities, concerning majorities, concerning how people they did the party, how people they left the party, concerning the parliamentary representation, so on and so forth. There's so many issues. So then people that don't work tirelessly for able to analyze the issue there, for able to talk about the issue there, look at them thoroughly. And we have to commend them. We as progressive and patriotic Sierra Leoneans, moreover, we, now this particular platform, the then and now media empire, when at the hub of the conversation, we commend them for that, and they do the right thing for the democracy that we country. I believe so. Now I'll go join me and you know say yes, they do a great job. So over to you, Mr. Prince Emile Komar. I just try for share with Fambulem the foundation. Usa this komoto, Usa will reach so right now, and Usa will desu. Like what I say no more, would they expect say people can join us anytime soon from the honor McKinney. And if I'm going to say, no, the challenges in terms of communication, so on and so forth. But Lord, keep finger crossed. We hope and go with journey. Over to you, Mr. Prince Emile Komar.
Yeah, many thanks, Mr. Mohammed Supermed Kamara, for that brilliant analysis and perspective, creating a background so real, you know, yeah, that even the layman go try for understand exactly within the on-go. And of course, this now a build-up to a 3-day emergency delegate conference where the on-go na McKinney. And as Nayeri earlier on, we try for bring few guests them come in for giving their own perspective from the ground itself, inside the conference center itself, where deliberations are ongoing. We know, say, the Constitution is being adopted. Now just crossing the T's and dotting the I's, now they take place. Much of a jubilation at an achievement. This is exactly what the situation is now as we speak. That Constitution has been adopted. But it's obvious that there are a couple of issues that need clarifications. This is exactly why we want people from on the inside where they partake, and not just the delegates them, but decision makers them in many respects going forward. We'll go let them talk to we and talk to Fambulen, so Fambulen will get for understand what exactly some of the interpretations them here are. One of them get for do with Alhaji Sam Sumana. In membership na APC, waiting at the status. But as we go on, I think Mr. Supermed Namangwe understanding kind of thing they are, the rigors, the skullduggery, the backstabbing, and all of the misconceptions, the challenges of a political party, especially the All People's Congress, waiting and on-go throughout the last 3.5 years, the build up to this particular case. When I read the analysis where you provide the background of it all, we come to a 3 days conference. Anyway, Mr. Supermed, so this is kind of very, very interesting because despite all the odds, the idea is now the 3 days convention has been held and in fact is ongoing, but will go effectively end today. Give me some of the highs and the lows, let Fambule understand, but what we can actually take from this conference going forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Prince Emile Koma, once more, and Fambule. I want to thank you plenty for the journey, and please let we continue for share so that let we join the conversation. Like what I always tell now, the Den and Media Empire, now the hub of the conversation. They talk for the interest of we country Sierra Leone and for the interest of the people in a saloon. So please allow share so that we all go join the conversation. Very important. Again, Mr. Prince Emile Koma, as you say, one thing me want to say, and I still don't see plenty pundits and they do that they commend the APC party because this na national delegate conference. That means they get people them all about in the country. So thousands and thousands of APC supporters, members them, sympathizers them, and well-wishers them, then converge na Makeni as we talk so. And for say, so then at the final day, we no yagi any sonko, any alala, any fet, we for commend them for that. That don't show say yes, then say they don't understand, say democracy, people that can get in differences. People that can get to now waiting and calling a chamot, but to get for allow, let other people them share their opinion, men come out, men discuss these things. So now one thing anyway, we don't observe what we commend them for. I mean, there are outstanding issues with them, plenty, where they get for discuss. One of them, Mr. Prince Emile Koma just church this now, where he talks the Sam Sumana issue, the reinstation, because we know say Alhaji Chief Sam Sumana, the former vice president, we don't come on an APC or them they expel them from the APC party. Or the working say and get them from the APC party. So if you don't come back, he want to join the party. But what he wants to reinstate them as if he not be common at the party. So that we don't go sit down, we don't go sit down, they don't look into him. Then at the National Advisory Committee, where for the APC party, we don't go sit down and look into him. They say, yes, we don't agree for reinstate the former vice president, when Alhaji Chief Sam Sumana back to the APC party. But the statement will be finalized, finally approved by a national delegate conference. But the issue here now is this. According to the variation where the Justice Adrian Fisher be given for when they go on this emergency delegate conference, some of the key stakeholders then say, now for the sole purpose, according to what the judge say, now for the sole purpose for adopt this constitution, Yasu. So this is not the outstanding issue where some people then say, no, you can also deal with the outstanding membership issues. Some people then say, well, this new constitution, by adopting them, automatically don't allow, say, Sam Sumana don't can the party because what you do, this new constitution, they say, where not get right for reinstate people. But other pundits they don't come back say, no, this new constitution really take that same stance. Say, when the party, you come on the party, they want to reinstate you back. Now the National Delegates Conference get for doing for approval. So that these are pending issues what we need for clarify. So they get them from different bodies then. But we need for clarify them, and hopefully we get the money at the convention all day, go able to join me very soon for government for this particular topic. Mr. Prince Emile Koma, I don't know if you get anything for add for that particular analysis of the Samsuman and Yon talk alone.
Oh yeah, it's obvious, Superman. And once again, thank you so much. Here is the point. The law, not the law. And most times we can try for circumvent the law, and that can create a problem because you might, based on your situation and position as at now, you might be able to circumvent the law, but eventually what happens is it creates problems going into the future because a similar incident might pop up and then go on for treat them differently. And simply because they may not violate the law, if you will like. Therefore, then therefore continue for violate the law just for satisfy a particular criteria. That's why the law needs to remain as it is. Or if they want to adjust them, it needs to be adjusted, not to go around them and try for destroy the essence of why they put them there in the first place. So in terms of the membership, the way we understand them, this is why we hope for get NAC member, at least one of them today, for see whether they go up more on this talk here and just clarify. The situation called for, or the constitution stipulates, say, the issue of membership, it gets something to do with the period, which is about, I believe, say 5 years. And inside that 5 years day, you should have been a paid up member. In other words, you should be a member for that 5-year period and you will have been paying up. So no you know some way campaign the clarification of membership. Now, the problem here is, as I understand them as well, is there are two sides to this story. In other words, let me just reflect shortly back. There was a constitution that was in place prior to waiting and adopt today. In other words, the new APC constitution. And there are some really fundamental differences inside that constitution there with key parts of the two constitutions. Some part then they, yes, then amend, some part then they then change altogether, some part then they then add. So within that old constitution, they get for say in terms of membership, and within this new constitution, they get for say in terms of membership, putting some Sumanan at the middle, how do we interpret that? I wonder whether you can help for touch on that, because I believe, say, Mr. Kamara, you versed with both constitution. Of course, the new one is still new, but we don't read a few pages. And I get an open, here in my system here, so we might look into it. But between the two constitutions, taking Sam Sumana as a case study, basket case, in terms of membership, what would you say, Mr. Kamara?
Yeah, thank you very much, and once more, Mr. Prince. And it's very important for me, I like this particular issue, because until they adopt this new constitution get for go sit down, tell them gazette them that the old constitution still exists. That the party they operate under the 1995 constitution for the time being till they adopt this new one, and this new one is being gazetted and become the new constitution of the APC party. Again, you mentioned one other critical point, which is the party, you cannot bend the rule for one person, you not bend the rule for the other person. Now that can make the party face legal issues then. And I believe, say, the APC party don't learn in terms of that particular aspect, because they don't get several court cases then, where they don't get to this first way and they so. So the fact that the last constitution don't spell them clearly, say if they be expelled you in the party, then they get in the party for whatever reason. If they want to reinstate you, not to join you, they can join you fresh, or you want to join you fresh, or they want to reinstate you. Then get for make sure, say, if NAC do them, they approve you, the national delegates, now the highest body of the party, for come and make sure, say, they confirm the approval day or not. So even though NAC don't say, we agree for you, if the national delegates can and say, no, we don't agree for you, then you not get case, they're not going to agree for you. They're not going to take you back. So it is good for us to clarify that point, Steve. And now we also make the family know say the law is very important for that we apply them equally among everybody. Make you not set the wrong precedent going forward. Because there are many people that go challenge say, okay, wait till APC, this one a new constitution don't say, person, before you be qualified for become a flag bearer candidate, if you don't do 5 years now the party, where it a paid up continuous 5 years. But at some point, during the 2018 election, we know say Sam Sumana now be member of the C4C party. So although it's going to be reinstated, does that not create an ambiguity? I don't know, the law then go there where we explain them, but does that not create an ambiguity? So the law will not get say, this person for be 5-year continuous paid member. Whilst this man, although they can't reinstate him, said the status will be there now every day, but we know in 2018, he was a member of the C4C party, registered member. And I think he was even their presidential candidate. So how now on earth he will say this man was being in this man only in the party 5 years consecutively as a paid up member. So all of those things, the people don't have the legal people probably go clarify for we. We not so legal people, and maybe there are clauses that could explain them clearly. But again, it is very important that we look at these things from different angles. I believe the APC party, now party we want all man. Because politics, they say a number game. You know, if one person self can make you win election, we don't see them in the West where somebody gets just a beating opponent by just 3 votes. So it's very fundamental. And I believe, say, the APC party as a whole and supporters and members, them, the one he admits the former Vice President, Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana, back to the APC party. But again, they have to do it within the ambit of the law so that the law not go hold them again tomorrow. Let other person don't go get grounds for sue them again because they don't go through so much. So I believe, say, then go able look from all inside and there and make sure, say, then check thoroughly for make sure, say, whatever they do, they're in line. And again, family, like what we say so, would they expect people, even spokespeople of the APC party, likely for join we anytime soon, but like all they say, then at the convention, all right now. And the party for say, dot the I's and cross the T's. Because then say one be very careful, according to the information they get from the people in there. They say one be very, very careful for make sure, say, then do exactly what in the judge when give this variation save them for supposed for do. They don't want them to do something where contravene what in that the judge say. Because what you do, the court go hold them for contempt of courts. That is very important. So despite what the party wants, and not really stand now what the judge don't say for do, now in the party get for do. So I hope say APC members them, supporters them and sympathizers will understand that. But please let me come. I mean, there are other issues. Again, where I will bring to you on the floor as well in terms of what in go there inside this particular constitution, like the diaspora region, like the terms of the youth league, when I say they don't change the name from the youth league of the APC party to something of young generation. All of those things. I don't know whether if you're able Rob Mott for them, or maybe you build up something for bring to Fambul them waiting like your own perspective in relation to the issues indeed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Semantics, and something where really matters. And when it comes to legal issues, documents for that matter, and what would they talk about? It's no small feat at all. This is not the documentation for a political party, and we need for look in context within a political party and what it represents. And therefore, that document the way supposed for bound everybody. Now, in would talk about so a very, very significant. Every word inside it does matter. Now, he make them go on a convention, and 3 days then they deliberate on them. And remember that before the convention, boku sonko yuki been there, because certain things them inside the constitution, people will not be agree with them, because whenever you get a body of people where you they try for put under one umbrella, it's going to be difficult because there has to be an agreement on waiting there for bind them. In this case, this is what you just put across and adjust one. In other words, before then, at the old constitution and prior to the now, in the then, waiting will be no, na youth man them. Now there will be the area about inside the APC constitution and just the language around youth man, youth man, youth man. But then inside this new constitution with the area about young generation. But we also therefore bear in mind that something where you say, we not to lawyer them. We not political pundits, you know, yeah, with the weigh in into situations, with the look at facts as we understand them based on references. Because everybody is kind of entitled to your opinion, but opinion not necessarily means say what you say is factual, but then you can cross-reference them, you refer people into something, and then we can bring and come forward, and then we'll make a judgment on that basis day, not to just talk. We don't become, you know, yeah, so much prevalent in our social media. So yes, that clause, they don't change, in which with the young generation. So the question is, and I get few calls, it's like waiting with the area about young generation, and especially the youth man them, what they refer to before, what is in this for them? Because then they understand and say, as long as they change from youth to young generation, there is a kind of a cut between youth and young generation. Of course there is. But the interpretation, where you will know very well of the law, can be completely different as to how we, with the ordinary eye, they see them. A lawyer might come and can't tell me exactly what this supposed for mean. And the people that we draft them as well, and very, very important in this context here for can't tell we, oh, when we've been draft them, this is what we had in mind. Another thing we get for bear in mind, Supermed, is remember the argument about the dual citizenship. We lately now been the real issue where everybody been to talk about, because it ended up in the courts and the justices them, the judge them, they get for deliberate on that and they render a ruling. And in that ruling day, which was very lengthy, we get for understand some of the interpretation of the law, how it can come about. And I think when it comes to that dual citizenship day, when they mention waiting the architect then be mean and how it is interpreted in the law, from the eyes of the ordinary, and we will be on the deliberate on them, we can't say we've been wrong, but we've been kind of far away from the final interpretation as per the people we're supposed to interpret them, the interpretation and we then give it, and we get to accept them because this not their own design, this is not their job capability. But back to the issue of young generation and youth man them, I definitely want to believe, you know, from your own humble opinion, that in this regard, there is a difference. Now, not just change them for change sake. It must represent something going into the future. Because one thing where people can get for bear in mind is the party is going through reform. The party is going through reform. So there are many sections of the party that definitely needs reform. You can't be archaic. You can't be operating now the 21st century with 19th century, 18th century rules, because that means you go there beyond time. So it being, you know, yeah, about time that the party reform. Yeah, and for reform, it's difficult, especially with that get for affect certain people, and then people might turn out for be powerful and very powerful. But in the end, I think it's a good day, you know, yeah, for all Sierra Leoneans, specifically members of the All People's Congress. But it's a good thing that a political party, not just a political party, but a major political party, they go through then changes there. So yes, the answer is, I want to believe that there is a difference, there is going to be a difference going forward between waiting the youth man that may represent then and waiting the young generation represent now in terms of the configuration. Uda, when they say young generation, waiting that mean? When they say youth man then, waiting that mean? There might be the acceptance of a change of age, you know, from a particular cutoff point, beginning point or cutoff point. What I mean by this, like for example, probably when they say youth man and force, maybe not been from 18 to maybe 40 or 37, something like that. That very well could have reduced for probably accommodate a middle ground between the youth man and possibly go there between them and the leadership, if you understand. And these are just the second guess and just the try for, like I say, look at from your opinion, but I still need for read that document thoroughly as soon as I know the ink not even drying on the document yet. But most of it they try for phantom try to understand them if you like, comprehend them if you like, and we're still a long way away. This is why exactly as we speak today, Fambulem, the 19th of September, 2021, this is the Then and Now Media Empire platform where they lead the conversation. So it's not about the number of live view, it's about the substance, it's about the conversation, it's about what is being said, how it is being said, who are coming, who are talking. Because una can't just get una own party when una organize them, then we wanna make, we wanna cause waves and waves and people celebrate them. No, it doesn't work that way. You get for bring different minds to the conversation. You get for bring people away diametrically opposed to you and from different walks of life, not necessarily from the government. It's not only the government that exists. It's a very significant component of the state, but there are other movers and shakers. There are other apparatuses where they, now that creation day of the state, where we call the democratic process or for constitute the entire democratic governance. You get civil societies, for example, very, very important. So whenever you get them, their views does matter. I see many think tanks, they come up. This nothing I advocate some 10 years ago, because we don't get think tank for think about the longer term. Now that I see they come up, I hope people then go know say, they want the way organizer, not necessarily get for be the one them, we get for lead them than a one, we mean say we want a result now and now, no. Then work there in a long run, you articulate, you formulate in the long run. That means you understand the problem, because sometimes the symptom, again, not only disease, but a good way you know the symptom of the disease, because that can help you for find a solution. So like I say again, the then and now, we keep up to civic responsibility by bringing the people that we matter most, those that are germane to the conversation, and we try to move forward with them. Just one or two quick announcements in terms of, we don't begin we advert as soon as go see the scroller text. We also they do video as per the advert. So today we talk about few Sierra Leonean outlets them where they do their own part and very well for make we feel home away from home. And these places are Alexis, where they Southampton Way, bar and restaurant. You get IBB's Legacy, and you get two joints within 53 Camberwell Road. And then you get Mingles Bar and Restaurant. Then you get two joints, where one day Brixton Road and another one day Peckham Park Road. And all them people there, they cater to African cuisine, specifically African cuisine. One of them, they also do, I think two of them, they do Mediterranean and European cuisine. And you can order online, you can dine in, or you can just simply get takeaway. But today, the subject matter here is 3 days of All People's Congress Emergency Delegate Conference is effectively coming to an end today. And trying to provide perspective and analysis are two of the best minds in the business. And I say I'm with very much confidence, because we've been in this for over 4 years. And like I say, when you opine, you draw reference to outside people and can go look, and then they form their opinion on that basis, not just the cover of the story. So we get over 400 videos on YouTube. Please visit our YouTube platform. Please like, subscribe. You can comment, but please try to keep the comment respectful. Don't, expletives are not tolerated. We can disagree for agree, because I believe, say, despite the disagreements, the objective is for a better country. Supermed, I want to take you back a little bit. Fambuleona, forgive me for digressing. I do digress a lot. I want to take you back to the build-up again. And this now in a different context, because apart from the party itself, there were other players on the outside. We're not going to mention names. We try for derail a process. And the reason why they bring this come up is there are many things to this. There is a cyber law in the country right now. And if people are found to be inciting, I believe, say, they can throw the book at them. Which they try for, say, the lead up to this convention, or just before the convention could start, there was this rumor coming from, we don't source the sources there now. We put out very much false information out there that the party been there so much at loggerheads that daggers were physically drawn and there was bloodshed and things were ongoing of that nature. Don't you think this amounts to incitement? And if you think, say, this is not incitement, how you view this entire thing in a political narrative? Is it just getting worse and worse?
Yes, thank you once more, Brother Prince Emil Koman. And it's unfortunate, they get worse actually, like we see no more. Very unfortunate and sad. And we Sierra Leoneans and Fonosi, the social media, it don't come to we advantage. Now they like today, now they communicate, they discuss, but people in the day as far as Australia, Middle East, the Americas, Africa, everywhere, they all they join for the discussion. So now we use social media for the interests of we country, for the benefit of we people. So we therefore be very careful for come out and put some malicious statements in, because it undermine the peace and stability of the country itself. So we have to be very careful what they put na social media. We see them particular audio that they come out, some people them way then just feel say now for just kind of make all kind outrageous allegations, lie them, just for create commotion. But unfortunately, they will find out quickly. Fortunately, in fact, they will find out quickly because people in the place they will be hearing about that, then come quickly out and say, all the one didn't lie. And I believe that will serve them a lesson. Say yes, if they get any iota of a credibility, they're not for the do anything and they not correct at all. And one thing say where most of even the social media pundits them, where then our opposition party them commend the APC party for is that they don't see then a final day they pursue. But the particular convention has been largely peaceful. Just imagine thousands of people converge on McKinney for the third day now. So people don't say over 4 or 5 days. The party they enjoy, but yet still the whole thing is largely peaceful. So then a testament to the people we organize this thing, the people who they run the whole process. We the Sierra Leoneans are very grateful for see that. Say the main opposition party, because unfortunately you can see even lately we will see some skirmishes with even the ruling party where they get lower level elections. So many people are worried, say, oh, maybe this will wait and cause, but never happen. And we commend the APC party for that. And again, we hope say this will be a lesson for them going forward, and also a lesson to the other political parties there. Like what you said just now, let me agree for disagree peacefully. We all not go and agree once. I like when a twin. You and your brother or sister when a twin. You know, always not go agree on one thing. People then get different things, different preferences. Then they see things differently. Somebody your own true, not your own true. Somebody your opinion, not your own opinion. But all of that will get for able go through and emerge as a nation, as a society. Say yes. At the end of it all, now we country Sierra Leone. We want to make sure so we country move forward. This now the 21st century. Nobody not get for move salon forward for we pass with the Sierra Leoneans then. Now we get for do that job there. So we they commend social media activists and pundits them where before say that they told the line like where we they do now the dead and now media empire would bring come and stakeholders them and count objective analysis of how they see different things then. With the do at the then and now media empire. And again, Lord revert back to this convention where they go on, where they conclude so na McKinney. The APC na the final date today for the convention. We look at other issues and when I like this not so, the terms of the youth league or the young generation business. Because again, we in Salon youth, people them kind of who get definition what's in a youth. But we now people them the youth man can discount to say, boy, when they see some big party on a youth, who don't have the youth man now? So we don't know whether if it is maybe of that particular way to go, because the young generation, who that young generation, who that old generation, how will you define that? You know, all man gets your own definition of farm. So we just hope say it would not be something we go affect we greatly, you know, going forward now that we continue. But again, what other issue we I see, let me say, and they continue for commend the APC party. What other issue we I see is the people that will go represent the diaspora at the convention. One guy today, what they call, I think, Asa Legal, was there articulating the point of the diaspora, the interest of the diaspora. And the drafters, them, the delegates, them, they were all, you know, deliberating. And I was encouraged because I then called democracy in action. People, they give their own views to a certain issue. This gentleman went up and he talked about how the diaspora forget certain benefits because the diaspora is going to be adopted as a region. So it's going to be adopted as a region and an APC party. So this gentleman went and analyzed and talked about that in detail. So what did they expect? How the diaspora they contribute? And we see the drafters and back. Then say they respond to their comments in the. They said they join panel analysis. The delegates and said they join. They look at the issue from all points of view. And that was really encouraging for we people who are patriotic and progressive Sierra Leoneans and say, wow, we country democracy don't begin catch. The APC party, they practice real democracy in action, but the convention, where they try for adopt a new constitution. You know, they deliberate on the issues, issue by issue, and people they come up with different points of view. But when you get any fet or alala, they understand, say yes, not to all man get forget a different point of, not get forget the same view. People get forget things differently. So that was also something that I was very encouraged because people like we believe say after God democracy for be the guiding principle for the guiding block for let's don't go able to move forward. Because if we're able to bring stability in terms of a political system, where the politician they know say you the only ascend to power through the ballot box, now a free and fair election. Because the democracy is again beaucoup components them. You know, free and fair elections, opposition party them, right of association, right of expression. These are all the rule of law. These are all fundamental. Yeah. And if all entirely happen, you know, we get a stable society. And if we get a stable society, we'll be able to attract investors. We country is very rich in resources and even human capital. We the Sierra Leonean people. So if we're able to just create that stable environment, that conducive climate, business people in the Canada country, open business will create employment. And employment and pull people from poverty. Not a government will create employment in all. Government has small employments. You look at the advanced country, then now the private sector, now they create the bulk of the employment. And when people get job, then they will look after themselves and an immediate family. These are all important. So it's good for now we see the political process, they grow to this kind of level where they see them. So now we country. And we commend the main opposition APC party for that. Family like all they say no more. We still expect people from the convention, now McKinney from Sierra Leone for January anytime soon. But again, we know say it's still go on. Like all the time, I cross the T and dot the I's for make sure say everything there in place. So not gonna be surprised if there is delay or there is issue. There is also some internet problem where they take place there because plenty of people they try for stream the program. I don't know why, and we know say these are all the challenges them way we face now in country. But hopefully, then people are going to genuine and we're going to move this conversation forward because we need for clarify something them. Well, like where the border be say the constitution just come out, they include the guy para itself. Some of you don't begin go through them small. But then the live now the only they get the deliberation. If they go able to genuine anytime, we're not going to get from them live. But again, Mr. Prince Emilkoma, what's in your own assessment really in comparison to what you don't see before, where a party they try for this now all scale change from an old constitution to a new constitution. Yeah, what's in your assessment going forward in terms of what you don't see the APC party though almost able to achieve for this the emergency delegates conference?
I mean, this in itself is a huge achievement, Mr. Kamara, and what a brilliant question, because it provides reflection, perspective, background, now and the future. That's what it is. This is one question, you know, here, which is compounded with many others. Thank you so much for that. It's important, very, very significant, because as we country today now the political crossroad, we fit look back again. This is why it's necessary for look back where we were, where we are, and as opposed to where we are going. And this is not exactly the moment this is historic. This is now watershed moment for the All People's Congress Party. Remember, the argument, the fight was about reforming. And you know, say for reform, as I say many minutes back, it will be difficult, especially for those who are at helm, because largely in this kind of setup, the people at the helm are those where they really enjoy the beef, the steak. Sometimes if they want out with bone, fine, but mostly they don't want out with bone. So it's pure steak, fine wine, if you will like. These are the people at the top. So then one them where they call for reformation, and normally people them at the bottom, where don't they survive on crumbs, but at some point they don't garner up, enough courage, say, you know what, team, we self-able for each steak. We self-able for sit down at that table with that big one there, and we deliberate about we country in future, and then we can also eat, because it's a kind of national pie. And when I say eat, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but the idea is there is a combination of equals, if you like, although not equally equal if you think about animal farm. So it's really necessary that reformation, where people let me know they call for the likes of Alfred Conte and co. The APC able for realize that it didn't come easy. It came at the back of sweat, tears, and deceit, hypocrisy, and the end of it. But what matters is the end, and at the process, now we see the play out. So in which a constitution that has been around for decades has now effectively become history, because why? You get people them way been disgruntled, not agree with that constitution. They say it is out of date. We need a constitution where we reflect the broad-based political party leadership of the All People's Congress, represent the will of the people, and etc., not just a few. So this is what they came to. Remember, and again, back it not be easy, because why? When you want to change this person not going to agree. It's a political party made up of people from different walks of life, different tribe, different region, different beliefs and culture, and then all man they come under one umbrella. Forget people of that kind as such. It's never easy. So, but anyway, the idea that the party be able to pull this out and conduct these 3 days, and the thing adopted, it's not 100%. Like we say, diverse people from different backgrounds, religion, sex, and you name it. So you can't get 100%. And in a democracy, the most likely what we go most times is majority. That's what you hear most of the time. So even a +1 in a 50-50 makes the difference. So the idea again, Mr. Superman, that the party be able to go forward for adopt this constitution is a major victory for Sierra Leone, the All People's Congress, and its members. And what you say again, just for shed light on them, that all of this was conducted under a very peaceful, conducive atmosphere in which camaraderie and brotherhood was in pure show or exhibition, hawking, talking, handshaking, and laughing and having fun, because we don't see the pictures, then we don't imagine. It is on this basis that we speak. We're not making this up. So I believe, say, this now watershed moment, this now milestone for the All People's Congress Party, and it also render hope for younger people the way they come through, because it also creates opportunity. If we remember that one of the turning point on the old constitution was one effectively in which for make you, it therefore belong to certain class inside the party, then big one them. Now they actually get for anoint you, not really a kind of way in which you go grow up now the party based on a different kind of merit. I don't know whether that makes sense. In other words, like when the ex-president in the speech, he talked about towing the party in line. When I want to throw to you now, because how did the ex-president then became it seemed like some magic wand, or maybe I just the exaggerator, but I'm asking you this, Mr. Superman, how did the ex-president became the leader? When I say the leader, basically the man will conduct the 3-day process. That surprised a few people in the political community, although others were not surprised. But how did EBK ended up there? And his speech, It's been loaded. And I wonder whether we can talk about that briefly again for break and down. And Fambule, don't not forget that we still try for get hold of delegates them, hopefully 1 or 2 NAC members for just Rob Mott, whether not 5 minutes, but they're so busy inside the hall that the team still try for get hold of them. So I'll be patient a little bit. Supermed, what do you think? How did EBK, the former president, end up being, or how you see him being the chief organizer, the man will conduct the business of the 3-day convention? How you see him? Waiting on your view, please.
Okay, thank you very much once more, Mr. Prince Emikuma. And it's a very other critical question you ask you, because the former president, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, and the chair for the convention, not only because in a still the chairman and leader of the party, but in the chair for this particular convention as well. This apparently come out from all the factions then were involved, because say we get the Peter Conte faction, where now young representative, 4 representative, and then get the secretary, where I think now Mr. Mohammed Sheridan Esekwe Esquire, now him now the secretary for the 21-man committee. You get obviously the Big Six, you get the diaspora, you get the NRM, and the main executive of the party, the all representation, Bidede. So they all come together, say they need somebody working for chair this particular event, when as somebody of immense caliber, because there is always a potential for any kind of to come out of hand. If the policy whether the center could not hold, able to get control. So I think say then deliberate to themselves, then decide for say, men and choose the former president for can chair this convention. So apparently they went back to the former president with that message there. The former president was not very sure. So, this is not court convention, this. I don't want to put on at all. So they had to come back and deliberate among themselves, say, no, now the former president want for them to do this job. So they asked them for write letter. When they publish on social media, where people see, when they sent to the former president, so they got that deliberation there, the former president agree, and the former president, they chair the whole event. And that is very important. That make the first day, the former president also addressed the convention as the chairman and leader. And again, that is another thing we're going to talk about a little bit with this new constitution. Because now the chairman and leader, now the former president, with this new constitution now, those 2 positions are going to be divided. The chairman a day, then whoever emerge as the flag bearer of the party, when they're going to become president, they become the leader of the party. So the 2 positions, they don't split them. It's no longer going to be chairman and leader. The chairman, they separate. The leader of the party, they separate. So now that way they then cancel when they say this man for chair the convention. And again, by and large, he did a great job, because we see when the representative, one of the representatives of Alfred Peter Conte, they grab for talk, some of the delegates of the people that they all be the boom. So now the former president began for tinap and for calm the people them said you and allow yourself, allow him, let him say talk. All man get right for talk and so on and so forth. So it was allowed, and he said he would deliver a message. So now I make people like it was very unfortunate where we see an audio that come out from an interview from the plaintiff himself, when Mr. Alfred Peter Conte, where say he is not satisfied. Because if he say the 7 constituencies and where the people not go, those people are disenfranchised. He said he's supposed to do wig on. But again, the acting national publicity secretary of the party, when Mr. Sidia Atunis come and clarify, he said, no, we get a time scale where the court give we say from Monday to Sunday, we have to connect all the election there. This is the gap. He said, we go say, well, we go to them next week. We don't preach waiting the court. We have to do exactly that. He said, but it don't mean say there's 7 constituencies there where election not take place and no will get representative. He said, because they get executive then they. When I say executive, they can represent then constituencies and they. So people were shocked that the plaintiff saying go get clarification and not happy with the process. But the only issue where say no happy about, say then constituency then they not be represented, so they've been disenfranchised. But when the acting National Publicity Secretary cap, it clarified. And again, we move now to the speech where the former president make. Many APC people, and they say, they swallow them pride, they say yes. Some of the speech, it was a little bit combative, it was a little bit strong, but they swallow them pride, say yes, that speech need to be delivered. Because the former president look at the flag bearer and say, listen, all this issue they get to, it emanates from them people here. And it's about time people tell them the truth. Because at the end of the day, any organization when you belong to, you get to look at the bigger picture. Yes, you want changes, you want this, you want that. But as a family, as an organization, as a party, we are able to learn for reconcile among ourselves. We are not allow pass una go na court before judge go reconcile for una. Because now that means una dey at the mercy of the court system. Because after this convention done again, they will have to go back to the courts. So the case not done yet. And that is unfortunate. So I believe that particular speech when the former president make, it was a little bit tough. You know, use some words them. It puts the people in the limelight and point to them, say that them people are responsible. And indeed, many pundits, many APC supporters agree. Say, yes, them people there, because of the effect for this flag bearer, the one they want the flag bearer, this one want the flag bearer, they're just looking at the flag bearer interest. Therefore, fail for realize, say, this flag bearer is not only about flag bearer. The APC party, the people of Sierra Leone, they look up to the APC party. The APC party should be a government in waiting. It should be an alternative. If we give the people in a salon choice, because that democracy will get in a salon. If they're not happy with the ruling party or the ruling government, men get a choice. It could be the APC party, it could be the other opposition. So the APC party politicians them also have to take that into consideration. So it's not just about my own personal ambition. Say, okay, me want to be this, me want to be this, me want to be this. No. Look at the bigger picture. Think about the country. Think about the people. I think that was the message when the former president be the try for deliver. Apparently, people close to the former president say, after the speech, he talks, sometimes a day you need for deliver tough love. Yes, I'm a partner, I'm a friend, then I'm a comrade, then. But I need for sometime in the say the thing the way need for be said. So that any people say reflect, man, and think about them. Going forward, maybe that will guide them into whatever action they want to take. So for me, on side, Mr. Sef, I don't know, Mr. Prince Emilkoma, what you take was on as again we'll continue for wait. We don't believe the convention is still going on. Now, Kennedy, they call say no more. This trip, I believe, say the APC party no one gets, and they don't want to miss any dots. They want to make sure say all the dots in there. So we're not going to blame them for that. 3 days he had for deliberated issue. I've got the constitution. It covers so many things. For many go able to do I'm not be acutely and tax. So we commend them for that. And again, Mr. Prince, I don't know if whether you want, how you assess that particular speech day, but so far, I think from the APC circles, people were content with it. I don't know what's you want to say.
I definitely agree with you, Supermed, in terms of your description. One of the description, because there were a few of them, and the one where you refer to as tough love. That's very apt, the way you describe them, because even in a home, family, you don't grow, you picking them up, or you don't mend them if you like. After a while, if the picking not get the message where you try for send across, and you don't just show and love, that love they definitely at some point has to be tough, because in the end you will be blamed if everything go wrong, because you so love the picking so much so that you willing they try for fair and apt word, because the way we come to my mind, I will just cut and short in terms of the abbreviation, some BS from that picking day, and it should not continue. So at some point you get for mass food down, as Salon people like you say, and you should begin the tough love. Look, son, look, daughter, I love you, but this is it. This is not for your own good. And this is exactly the analogy with the Ernest Koroma. Remember, say, they don't lead the party for 11 years, plus in the presidency and post-presidency, they continue for lead the party. And you go say from a position Usai Sidon, you may want for referring to as many names the way you go like selfish, hypocrite, and etc. But you show me one politician who is not selfish. You show me one politician who is not hypocrite. You show me one politician when they use in bully pulpit to your advantage. You show me one, then maybe I can divert this conversation. But I'm sure say one not exist. They are all hypocrites and bullies, and now the way how they use this power will belong to them. So which are the try for say from that position also I don't occupy for the past 14 years, if you like, or 14 years, he gets a view of almost all in picking them if I can put them in that way. Yeah, most of what they say now, you know, we can refer to them as hyperbole. So in picking them, so you look at in picking them, they don't understand, they know the good one them from the bad one them. You know the level or the amount of good one them to the bad one them. And you see all waiting on it play out all through this period while the APC been go through reconstruction, if you like, because this is a kind of reconstruction period, political reconstruction. So if they're in that position, they wait people and they bring word Kantoram, where instead they watch the news, they make assessment, and from basically generally waiting just they happen all around. In they get all them viewed and they both waiting and they get waiting, they watch, waiting, they see, waiting, they read, waiting, they read. And a very powerful man in many respects. So now out of that, me believe say it makes such a speech. And I think say that speech day was kind of very, very relevant. Because like I say, there comes a time in terms of the description what you make called tough love, you therefore draw the line. This is how much I can accept. This is how much I can accept. This is what we need for do going forward. Because I don't listen to one all. And this has been a long period of time. And time is not infinite in this sense. It gets a kind of value and an expiry date, and they talk about the political calendar, if you like. So therefore, we get for chart out a course of action where we go lead with and call leadership to the beyond this point to start with this so for that we experience, we objective, waiting that we objective, we hope for return to power. How do we return to power? We need first of all for reconcile. And that reconciliation process, then they take place inside this hall today. Also, we don't come for adopt this constitution. In the adoption of this constitution, we need everybody on board because a house divided cannot stand. And this is not the analogy of the former president in speech. So I think say the speech was timely, it was necessary. I believe in a thing where the ex-president ponder on over a period of time, go over and finally sit down and say, this speech, I'm going to give this speech because it's quite relevant. And I'm sure say history will be kind to him in that respect in terms of that speech the way he give. Because you can't unite the 100% of the party, like I say earlier on. But you just want that vast majority and speak your words out so that people go understand that it is in the best interest of the party. I have served before, they can accuse me of being selfish and they hold the party to ransom, but will not tell me for which reason. Who else, you know, I'm going to say alternative not there, but at this particular point in time, una give me alternative where una all day pa una self like puss and dog. Una tell me, and under the circumstances where they ongoing at the country, you in opposition and you see waiting to happen. So if you not get one united figure, we hold the party, you know, where everybody can gravitate around, then obviously that party they into serious trouble. But now that they don't go forward and they don't go adopt a constitution, it is also interesting at this particular point in time to see how do we go forward from here. Beginning tomorrow, Monday, the 20th, the APC party will be a new party. And tomorrow we'll make them the one with this new constitution, and we'll go begin count the days and begin look at the constitution now, waiting is say. A word of advice for Una is like Una go see boku rubbish. And I know say by now Salon people are not the wise up, and this is not just a hint for the wise. Remember that the build-up, and I asked Mr. Kamara this question earlier on for like provide perspective on people that we try to derail the process. And this was deliberate, in which they try to make the party appear in a kind of ugly way. And when they speak, not only in behalf of the party, but the country as a whole. Because some of the incitements that we read from certain section, and we know the section, we know the people who belong to this section. And some of them are not ordinary because they've been speaking in behalf of the ruling party. They've been embraced. by the ruling party. So when they make such statements, then we amount to incitement by many respects. And that was the intent, because sometimes you're going to have to look at the intent. Now to create incitement so that waiting the party they go for good will not take place. Or even if it end up for take place, there will be these skirmishes and blood and what have you, and then the party will be blamed. And then the narrative will soon turn to be otherwise in social media. And this is why Mr. Kamara said earlier on that the idea that the party went forward without any of this, now with political calendar, we all time we try for hold some elections, something of that kind, where people get different opinions. It always end up in bloodshed with machetes being displayed, and people and they show immaturity in terms of conducting ourselves. But here, a huge party with millions of supporters and hundreds of thousands of people are scattered all over the country, and thousands more went to McKinney, the district headquarters office, and converged for hold this historic moment. This is a historic moment. This has gone down as a historic moment for many things. One, reformation. The party finally embraced reformation, and as others now the party be say, look, we need for reform, which was an absolute necessity. You can't continue for live in the 18th, 17th, 19th century, and this is the 21st century, and things are changing. And only one group of people can hold on to power or decide how to make or break another. No, things have to change. Other people need to have a voice. The party listen, and this is it, very important. They listen, you might say reluctantly or was forced to, but at the end, here we go. The party in constitution is being adopted. And tomorrow, like I say, Monday, the 20th of September, goes down in history as day one for the party in opposition. This is now a big deal, Mr. Kamara, for both the members of the All People's Congress and the entire country. Having said this, Mr. Kamara, I want briefly look at, because we run out of time, even though these people are not signed up yet. And Fambul and the convention still they go on, and Glady they forget hold of them, as we understand. It's a little bit tricky because nobody no one miss this how you go call them this highlight, because this is not the moment, this is not the critical moment, and if you miss them, you miss so much. So we get a hard time, but we still try to get hold of them. Earlier on, Supermed, you talk about the National Youth League, where effectively move away from what will they talk about youth man them, and you remember what you mentioned earlier on regarding the
absolutely
youth man and the
young generation, yes,
yeah, and the concerns where they get the young generations and waiting that particular thing they mean. Of course, we don't assess that, but I be also want to let you weigh in on something we then call the Elders Council, and ended the National Women's Congress. I'm not saying read all of this into to yet, but maybe you're able to deliberate based on the old one. And if you don't see anything from this new one regarding the Elders Council. First of all, Super, did we have an Elders Council in the past?
Yes, absolutely. We get an Elders Council in the past. But again, the Constitution was very ambiguous in relation to the issue, and it not be really specified or clarified their role thoroughly. I think say this new Constitution, I don't try for update and make sure say everything is clarified in that particular regard. And again, Fambulen, they look like where Brother Prince try for Stelna, the people they more forget them again, and not say we will get it because that the peak of the all 3 days, but not today. So forget people them out of that conference only, because the conference all the number we didn't talk, because obviously the process they partake on and it's so noisy and it's impossible. And for me, go able to pull somebody now, again for come out completely out of that vicinity today. And we will struggle, we don't, really, it's unfortunate an officer and go able to join me today, but when I know say you had the orb of the conversation, throughout the next following days, I will come, go get all them people and they will kind of explain to you all some of them two things them where we're not able to clarify, because they say no more, the ink just the dry by the Constitution. So I let you have to read and take now plenty documents. So tell them back, you need some clarification. Even if you read them, you need some clarification. So we're not able to do them yet. But definitely, then people in the subsequent dates, then get for Canada. So please, just keep up for the Dell and Now Media Empire. Now Facebook page, follow we, so that when we get notification all the time, then we YouTube page as well, now subscribe. And
so let me
as we
just
fight
add to that. Yeah, go on, Superman. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brother Prince. As we fight for can round up, because like way the boy they say, Brother Prince, we almost run out of time. But we just want to come do now updates number of what's in the happen, because we always they in tune with the conversation. We always want to make love and know what's in the happen on our country, so that we go keep track of what's in the happen. And then the people that were they in charge know say whatever they do, we they watch them. We they hear what they talk. You know, they observe everything. Nowadays, there is no hiding place out there. There is no hiding place. We they make sure say anything they happen. We not say they know. We not say we will deliberate time and make the informed decision they are supposed to make. We think for make that decision indeed. So I mean, it's another complicating issue where the border highlights them women's wing, because we be no back. Then role obviously the women's not the majority in the country. It's about time let the woman and herself get position of authority. Now we see by their own contribution. Yes, we don't see small, but it has to be 50-50. The opportunity where the man and get, the woman and self will get the same opportunity. You know, because and the majority, and probably they get plenty talent where they make use of. So all of those things, I believe, say the new constitution don't clarify them all and they thoroughly, so that tomorrow, what's not for the again. No, na my own whole list, and your own whole one, you know, Lord look at the documents. Oh no, now this person will one day. So that again, it is important for the party. Like when they say this is the 21st century. You know, just put fizzy statements them, saying that this time is documents where people they can't read them. No, nobody will know what's in at the left or right. You got to make sure say it stipulates them clearly, so people where they operate within that document, they go know exactly what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do. And it's good for the main opposition party, it's good for the members, it's good for Sierra Leone itself. So as the federal roundup, but Prince Emilko Mago, I'll over to you, maybe you go round up and tell Fambulem what they expect going forward now the Then and Now Media Empire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Many thanks for that. And the Then and Now Media Empire, again, like Superman been say, we never short of information because we pride ourselves in information, not only information, but genuine information on this platform. If you're looking for somewhere where you can get genuine information from, because we believe say information is vitally important and information is very, very powerful. Like if you provide people with the factual information, what people can then do with that information is use them for all good intent and purposes to their own strength, for make choices based on that information. So this is what we do on the Then and Now Media Empire. Very, very important. We get many things then where they come on, obviously. Two things then I want to draw Fambulem attention to is the president as we speak. He probably don't move on to New York, but remember, say he made a stopover in Boston, Massachusetts, where he made a speech. That speech not go down well with certain community. And me know say I get calls and messages them where people and they say, what did he mean by this? And some of the things that the president said, because I did listen to him, was now the country don't begin to look like country again. Now the country now we fever this, now we fever that. Some people take serious reservation or make serious issues then with a statement and the way the president make. Because we have to be honest with the things then way we say. We can take responsibility. If we want to take responsibility, it's not only for the good things, but also for the bad things that happen under our watch. The only thing I can give the president credit to for that short speech why he make in Boston is he talk about the accountability process and how people like we, the Then and Now, and many others, not only label one them, yeah, we not get the audacity or the guts or temerity for whole government to account. People always see receipt and say receipt doesn't really matter. Invoices doesn't really matter. People always see people and they clap and sing. Big people where they appoint and elect for leadership role and lead the country. They sing Mama don't come, Papa don't come. And people they say it right. People and we see other people and they thief because the thief man and the thief man them. They say no. The president say he's happy that he's been held to account. And largely they refer to the media, both at home and abroad, both mainstream MSM and SM. All of them wanted the president I've been talked to. So me gladly, and I hope say those of who we're not tend for the thing in that objective fashion. We just want for libele and think say just singing praises that solves the problem, or this sets the barrier between them and us. In that obvious way, they were not right. Go forward. No. the observations are being made on social media, Fambulem, and people are able to decipher the truth from the false, the myth from the reality. They do. So that speech, then a speech will get for play and analyzer, me and Superman. We definitely get for play and analyzer. So we look into it. And so we want for unpack things. Also, when they come again, now this very conference, because this is going to go on for a long time, but with this entire week when they come, I hope so we'll dedicate time to this conference. We just end the adoption of the new constitution, what is there. And like Superman say again, we will bring guests of relevance to the platform for can help we for elucidate the issues them when they deliberate until they reach the adoption of that constitution and waiting this new constitution mean going forward. And this is going to be my last question to Super. I know say we close the program now, but we can't close this program because I didn't have in mind all along. The new constitution and moving forward. What does this mean, Supermed? Finally, the constitution has been adopted and we need to move forward. What does this mean?
There's another process. Okay. When the constitution get for adopt them today, it get for go live with PPRC for I think a month. Wherein party members them still can raise issues them. After that month day, if all of this, everything went clear, then it's going to be gazetted and automatically it becomes the constitution of the APC party. But again, subsequently before that, I think they will have to have another court sitting again, where the justice, Edgar Fisher, one of the judge, where they oversee the case, go look at what's going to happen and see whether if the variation where he give, then follow them to the latter. So there are many things coming up, and when they say no more, we will talk about them all at the then and now media empire. But again, in fact, I get a breaking news for Tona again, where I just don't confirm as I talk. The next program on Saturday, Inside Salon program, go bring one of the big six, where we represent the 21-man committee, and also a flag bearer aspirant for the 2023 presidential election, the Honorable Alhaji Ibrahim Kemo Sise go there with we on Saturday next. So incessant that the people when are the key stakeholders within the process. Le go bring plenty of them key stakeholders there so for men can analyze and talk about the issue they are going forward. So now watch out.
So then you get it, ladies and gentlemen, on live TV. You already know what you're gonna get on this Saturday, which is effectively some 6 days from today. You know already what you're gonna get on the Then and Now Media Empire. A senior member of the All People's Congress, a member of the Big Six, they come on the Empire a few days after this 3-day convention. So it's gonna be loaded, it's packed and important. Please spread the good news.
Okay, then thank you very much once more, Brother Prince. And again, now look out what's going to happen once the constitution has been adopted today. Within that 1 month period, because we obviously they look out and the plaintiff say it's not satisfied. So when they go revert back in the courts, waiting for happen, then waiting all the party members them, stakeholders them, so then they will not see now the convention, the likes of the Alpha Khan, they were not in the convention. So what they get for say in relation to the new constitution. So go for watch out for all of those things. And now the Then and Now Media Empire, now the place for get that information in there because we will bring can guess them, we go can deliberate and talk about the issues also in detail. So do una watch out, una subscribe now YouTube page and una follow we now Facebook so that I will get constant and current notification about what's in the happen as with the Brian Cantona and keep the conversation going.
So many thanks for that clarification. But before you go, just an addendum to that. Of course, like I say, tomorrow, Monday, the 20th, it's a new beginning for the party, but it's subjected to some T's and C's as Supermed make and clear out there. But here is the question, Supermed. The former president, a day on record for saying not to anybody, like a court, get for decide, waiting party member then decide. I just want to reflect you shortly back. So the president, the ex-president then go on for chair the meeting to this convention, this 3-day convention, in which the team don't adopt the constitution. But the constitution is subjected for go through the justice system, Justice Adrian Fisher. Is it going to be an academic process based on waiting we see? In other words, giving you perspective long before the time, because these are supposed nothing way we can do based on the records. Thousands of people are assembled. the justice may not give an order for let them go before, let them go do the thing, but here is the structure, and these people are not go. Do you see a problem with the structure? Do you see a problem leading up to the adoption of the Constitution that will pose a threat for it to be reversed because Mr. Conte and co are not satisfied with the process? Do you envision anything like this?
Well, as far as we concern, and beaucoup politics and concern, because don't forget the chairman of the PPAC is also part and parcel. He said he observed the process and he made a speech that so far, insists the party don't follow the rule to the letter. So as far as the party has followed the rule to the letter, there is not going to be an issue. Now, I met the party within the 21-man committee, even they have so many lawyers, and then get plenty to do them back when they watch, when they interpret what the justice say, when they make sure say anything when the party they do, they go in line. That is why even supporters of Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana will be they agitate say, therefore deal with the membership issue. That thing was a problem because the time was talking, no, not for say the parties not for say no one deal with them, but we have to make sure we do exactly what the judge tell we. Otherwise, if we do anything against what the judge tell we are in trouble. The party is in trouble. So I believe, say, with all those legal minds, with the PPAC representative and all the people and where sabi the law thoroughly don't interpret them, and the party don't follow them, I feel saying that just a formality now. Yes, the plaintiff can raise objection or other members could raise objection, but that is the formality because it is given according to law. It gives space for raise objection. Well, would the objection be valid? Again, from the objection there, from the plaintiff, we know say now from waiting the acting National Publicity Secretary can tell it looks like say the acting National Publicity Secretary get a better case because he said, but the judge tell we say from Monday to Sunday, I want to do this. Monday to Sunday. So if we don't do a Monday to Sunday, the 7, over 96% will do them correct. The other 7 they make confusion. We say, okay, that 7 they don't postpone it to another date. That means they don't violate what the judge tell we. The judge not tell us to do a postponement to. He said to do from Monday to Sunday. He don't give the exact time for doing. We not get for doing within that time. If we're able to do the 2-3 they don't left, the 1 or 2-3% we don't left, then the people who did it were na executive of the party, they can go represent. But at least the judge when I go to court, when I go to tell and say, okay, Judge, you tell us go in that party, only 32, we don't go there. But then 2-3 places there, confusion they will not be able to do them. We got police, security, all, but we're not able to do them. And for protect life and property, the process was abandoned. So I believe, say, the judge says, now, human being like we will know the circumstances of issues. Go say, well, okay. It makes sense. Okay. You know me say what I say when I go do this one, even far they come, the place they are born. When I say no for do no more, I like when I born when I die there. No, don't call me. Okay. Because the judge go say when I go use na sense. You know me say when I go like election day today na McKinney. The place they are born inside when I say no for do no more, I like one born no do. Because I say the judge say no. The judge go tell us for use na come so na one commodity. When I can't tell you back say we don't do am far cage. So one commodity. So it makes sense. And these are the formalities where I believe say they get for go through. Then, but largely, many politicals, they say, they believe say this has gone through with leaps and bounds, and they believe say this constitution will be adopted and be ratified and gazetted, and eventually will become the constitution of the APC party.
All right. Many thanks, here for that brilliant assessment and perspective, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to these issues, I mean, the brother has got no equal. What a brilliant mind. And we say thank you very much, Superman, for wrapping up the program on such a high note, and I hope on a basis of optimism for party members and the country as a whole. Thank you so much. And Fambulem, we don't come effectively to the end of this program. We're sorry we were not able to bring the people in Cam we supposed to bring Cam. As explained, everybody kind of tied down to the conference and at the highlight. This na the epochs. This na the cardinal point. So nobody know what miss them. But definitely throughout the days and weeks to come, we go bring una them same people here. This is a promise that we make to una. These are people that we don't bring before Canada platform, so that they within we reach, we can bring them come back, and we promise that we will. The then and now, and not forget, we don't begin Fabulem, we spread the news out there. We don't begin to advertise now, as we can see na the ticker or scroller text. We also they do video. So if you get 2 or 3 minutes video, you send until we can sit down and talk. We pro forma. We can talk to you on how much it will cost you on a monthly basis, very minimal, and that's supporting a platform, here for just grow. So we also they do birthdays and announcements, and pretty soon we hope for engage Fambulem on obituaries as well. So now keep tuned to the then and now, the only place where you will find unrefined news, the no spin zone, and what you expect now quality news. This has been the then and now in behalf of Mr. Mohammed Kamara, aka Supermed. And for myself, Prince Emil Koma, they left now with we intro where we go use as an outro on this program effectively. So like I say again, I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, but effectively this program has come to an end. I think somebody want to contribute, but I mean, we're off time now. It's over now. It's over now. It's over. Just they try to forget the outro. Okay, just the outro. So that was it, Fambulem. And at this particular point in time, I just want to say good night to everybody on the platform. Good night all. Thank you.